Whether you're building a PC, adding extra visual workspace, or you just need to enlarge your laptop's workable area, there are all kinds of reasons to buy a computer monitor. I'm Erin from Tech Gadgets Canada and TechGadgetsInternational.com, and I've been looking for the perfect monitor to use with my Apple MacBook Pro. My laptop here is only a 14-inch size screen, and with all the video editing, photos, and website design I do, I just need to be able to see more things larger. I recently narrowed down some choices that are extremely popular on Amazon, and that's what brought me to the Sceptre 1080p 24-inch computer monitor. In this review, I'll look at what you get with this monitor, what your options are for setup and connections, the quality of the screen, and any special features. I'll also let you know if I think it's a good bet for you. And really heads up, if you end up liking this video and finding it helpful, to please hit that like button and consider becoming a subscriber. Both those things help me keep making more videos that I hope everyone out there can watch, enjoy, and learn from. And don't forget to read, reference, or share this topic. You can head over to TechGadgetsCanada.com. I'll start here with a quick word about choosing a monitor. It's all about your personal workflow. Knowing your exact use cases, that's going to help you make a beeline towards the best path. My strategy is to start off with 3 specific things: the maximum price you're willing to pay for a monitor, and your use cases for both the short term and the long term. Focusing on your budget and short-term use case is most important, but also figuring out your long-term game helps, because monitors last a long time and maybe you don't want to contribute to e-waste by replacing your monitor every few years. What about the choice between a 4K and a 1080p HD monitor? I'll point out off the top that a 4K monitor is substantially more expensive than a 1080p version. With that out of the way, if you want to treat your eyes well, a 4K monitor is definitely the way to go. I remember when Apple first introduced its Retina displays and when the first 4K TVs came out. Nobody thought they needed that kind of sharpness, definition, and resolution until they actually saw one of those screens and really noticed how much sharper the text and image details are. Even so, 1080p monitors are a great idea for a lot of applications, particularly if you don't need exact color replication or you don't do a lot of fine detail like graphics or photography or video work. All right, let's get to some of the specifics on this monitor. The Sceptre 1080p 24-inch monitor has a thin bezel with a slightly thicker chin. It's not the nicest design or the sleekest, but it gets it done. The display itself is slim as well, making it a good minimalistic monitor choice if you don't mind the Sceptre logo on the front. It'll be important to note that, perhaps understandably for the price, this monitor doesn't offer any height adjustment options, but you can tilt the screen a little bit. It does have a built-in 100mm VESA mount. Thanks to that mount, you can buy a monitor arm like one of my favorites, the Kensington monitor arm, and instantly get the monitor off your desk if you want. I will say though, to use this mount you do need adapters, and fortunately Sceptre includes them in your package. The adapter screws allow you to attach the VESA mount on the back of the monitor despite its protruding metal connector for its own stand. Now, I don't understand why Sceptre wouldn't just use a traditional VESA adapter, but even so, this solution still works just fine. On the ports and connections side, you get dual 75Hz HDMI ports and a single VGA port. There's also audio connections and the power supply. You won't find any picture-in-picture or split source modes though, so you're limited to cycling through different sources like you would with an ordinary TV, for example. The box includes an HDMI cable, and you could also buy an HDMI to DVI cable if your motherboard or computer only has DVI ports. You do have a wee bit of setup to do beforehand. Click the 2-piece stand together, then screw it into the protruding metal bracket on the back. The tiny 2-watt built-in backfiring speakers are really nothing to write home about, since they sound similar to maybe an entry-level laptop. But I do think it's a good addition for folks who don't want to clutter their desks with external speakers just to get involved in a Zoom call. If you have a pair of headphones, you could also plug those into the monitor's 3.5mm jack, which could come in handy too. This monitor uses 1080p high-definition resolution, which is not as sharp and precise as 4K. Even so, it gets the job done admirably for most basic tasks. Of course, if you want that sharper resolution, it's available on any number of other 4K monitors, but of course it will cost you a whole lot more. The Sceptre monitor has pretty good contrast ratios. Blacks look remarkably deep, and the color accuracy overall is pretty good. While I wouldn't recommend maybe using this monitor for professional graphics work due to the poor viewing angles, which lead to kind of a washout effect if you're off to the side, things like watching movies or basic document editing works great and seems just fine. I will also point out that because there's no height adjustment, you might need another solution, particularly if you want to use it, as I did, with a laptop. Whether that's a stack of books, a riser, or getting it onto a monitor arm, that's up to you. My feelings overall are that this monitor is just fine, but it's not going to blow your mind. Understandably, at this resolution, the text isn't quite as sharp as it could be, but if you're just looking for a simple monitor to view things on a larger screen or for the kids to do their homework on, this is an ideal budget option. If you have need for color precision, razor sharp graphics, or video work, this monitor would probably not be my first choice. But as long as you know what you're getting with this monitor, it could actually be a real wallet saver. Well, it's not much to look at in the design department, and the resolution is basic. It's a fine monitor for those on a budget. When it comes to the downsides, there's really nothing wrong with the monitor itself per se. I mean, you could complain that the resolution isn't as sharp, or the screen isn't big enough, or that it's not as aesthetically pleasing as other options. But if that's the case, I would direct you to several other high-end and more expensive monitors. With this one, you're getting basic monitor features at a great price. That's why I can definitely recommend the Sceptre 24-inch monitor to you. It sells for about 205 Canadian dollars or $129 US, and you can get it, as I did, from Amazon. If you want to check out some other higher-end options and 4K display panels, check out my reviews of the LG Ultrafine Ergo, ViewSonic, or Samsung.